Hello and welcome back to Avalon. Today we are doing a reading for Cancer, okay? And in the pre-meditation and shuffle, what I was getting was that there is a Cancer who is dealing with releasing old hurt, old pain, old wounds, likely karmic, that were caused possibly by the words or deeds of another. They're revisiting this pain, though, not to dwell in it, but actually to forgive, okay? And that is something that they're doing because it's actually not about the other person. It's about feeling comfortable and confident emotionally, individually, okay? So this is about healing for a Cancer. It's about healing in order to stand as a strong individual. And there was another energy that I was getting. Well, I can't remember it now. If it's important, it will be brought up, okay? So let's get into the reading with the recent past energies for Cancer, okay? All right. So we get the Seven of Cups in reverse. Show that to the right side up there. And the Seven of Cups is what I'm getting is divine confusion. Okay, so it is a confusion in the sense that this Cancer has been feeling that they needed to make a decision on where to focus their energies, whether that's work or relationships, their drives, whether it's spirituality. But I get that this is a confusion that was intended to be, okay? And in that way it is a divine confusion, okay? It's part of the awakening process to try and understand, to try to focus our energies. I know personally I've had that's a big part of my journey because I often get quite mentally scattered, and I put a lot of effort into 1,000 little different projects, and a big part of my life is trying to understand that it's okay to rule some avenues out in favor of others, and it doesn't mean you'll never come back to that activity or perhaps that person if that's it could be a romantic situation for one of you, but I feel like it's more about refining it's about, refining the self, but in terms of efficiency. So getting the biggest bang out of your buck. Do I put all of my eggs in one basket? Do I put all of my energies in, it just jumped out of my hands. Do I put all of my energies in one cup, or do I spread them out, or do I pick the 3 most important ones? Okay, but the Cancer that I'm connecting with, they've already made this decision. Okay, they're not confused any longer. They've been they have decided what cup to put their energies in. Okay, and if I go back to the pre-read, sort of, I get that they're deciding to put their energies in their own kind of a deal. Like, instead of maybe, I think this Cancer often put a lot of energy into looking after other people, as is sort of the nature of Cancer. The sign of Cancer is related to the Divine Mother, you know, the nurturer. And I think that this Cancer has decided that in order to fill their own cup fully and be emotionally full and stable independently of anyone else, yeah, I think that they've decided to fill their own cup, but they've, interestingly, the way that they've done this is by actually forgiving a hurt that was done to them that caused a lot of pain. And in that way, you've used your essential energy, that water energy of Cancer, so it's kind of like you've used that water energy as like a salve for a burn, you know, somebody burned you, but you're kind of nurturing them by forgiving them, and that in turn fills your cup up. Okay, so that's the past recent energies for this particular Cancer. And let's move on to the physical. What's going on in the physical for this Cancer? And again, I pre-selected all of these cards. I shuffle and meditate on them. I pray on them beforehand, and then I go through them and, with my intuition, pick out the right cards for each space. Okay, so moving on to the physical. All right, we have the Judgment card. Interestingly, the Judgment card, well, let's start with basics. The Judgment card is a major arcana. It's a number 20. It's and in that way, it's about completions. It's also about second chances. Okay, I'm gonna show you the card there. Yeah, so this is often the card that comes up when somebody is either being given a second chance or they're giving somebody else a second chance, okay? So, and it's, again, it connects right to what we were talking about, the energies that came up in the pre-read and the past energies. There's a connecting with Cancer who is forgiving somebody, okay? They're being given a second chance, maybe not necessarily as a romantic partner, you know, being, as in, you know, you'll say they cheated on you and you've decided to go back to them. Not necessarily a second chance in that way, but a second chance in the way that you've forgiven them, okay? So that you're wiping the slate clean with this person. I get that probably the relationship with this person, whether it's, you know, colleague or romantic or friend or family, whatever, has really worn out the Cancer. And this forgiveness, the second chance that the other person is getting, is actually also a second chance for the Cancer, because, like we were saying before, that forgiveness is actually, forgiving the other person is actually, in a way, forgiving yourself, because when somebody hurts us, it's a reflection of hurt that we feel inside. It's a reflection of somewhere where we've got a wound, right? So forgiving this person is actually giving the Cancer a second chance in the physical. So I think that I'm connecting with somebody who's recently made a kind of big decision, at least an important one, even if it was more like, okay, I'm going to focus on this stuff more. But it feels like a fresh start. It feels like a tidal wave has kind of come in and washed everything away. And what you're left with is, you know, what's left, right? All the madness has kind of been washed away, and you're at that clean slate, okay? And it's at that place of that clean slate where you can tune in and really listen to your higher self better. It's really quite difficult when there's a lot going on in our lives and we're holding on to denser energies like, you know, resentments and pain. It can be harder to tune in. I don't know why that is. Maybe, you know, it's because if you're in a low frequency of, say, that resentment or jealousy or something, it's harder to tune into your higher self because your higher self is a high frequency, right? So you're liberating yourself as well as this person from this karmic cycle that you've been in with them. Okay? So it is an end of a karmic cycle with somebody in your life. And for some of you, it might just be that it's the end of a karmic cycle with a particular cup here that's been not wasting your energy, but draining it when there are better uses for it, okay? All right, we're going to move on to the emotional space. And here we got 2 cards. I'm not sure why, I just really felt like both deserved to be there equally. Okay. All right. Okay, I got it now. So, in the emotional space, we have the 6 of Wands. I hope you can see it. The 6 of Wands and the Queen of Cups, which was in reverse, okay? So I'm connecting with a Cancer who is feeling victorious over their own emotions, okay? They're feeling like they have dug themselves out of a period where they perhaps were a little bewitched by their own emotions, you know. And again, it comes back to that pain that's being forgiven, the hurt that's being forgiven. I feel like it was very confusing, very how do I say that, lowering, like it was dark, dense energies really for this Cancer that they were going through, and this mastery in understanding their own emotions has helped liberate them. It has helped create this emotional sense of victory. Okay, that was the other kind of energy I was getting, that there was in the pre-read, that there was a big heart healing going on for Cancer. Of course, we're in the time of Cancer right now. This period, end of June and most of July, and it's a really, really intense period of time because of all these. It's eclipse season. This week is kind of a little bit of the eye of the storm in a way, and that it's like this like calm period where we had this really intense Sagittarius full moon and the solstice in 1 week, and then we have this period of just sort of finishing off integrating those energies and beginning to integrate the energies that are coming in with the solar eclipse on July 2nd in the sign of Cancer. Is it in? Yeah, it should be in the sign of Cancer, I believe. Anyway, and then we also will have the partial lunar eclipse on the 16th. Depending on where you are in the world, it might be a different the day after. Okay, so I'm connecting with a Cancer who's starting to understand their vital, their essential energies. And in doing so, they're tapping into a heart purging, a heart clearing from the heart chakra, um, that I imagine feels quite wonderful. It feels like a triumph over a dark period. It feels like I said, like a fresh start, a clean slate. It feels like you're moving forward in a positive way, in a victorious way, perhaps, but not so much like, haha, I won over you kind of a thing. It's more of a, it's more of a victorious in that, like, you learned something and you know it was the right thing, even though it was hard, and maybe you're still a little like irked over having to maybe forgive this person, but you're heading in the right direction and you know it. Okay, we're moving on to the mental space of this Cancer. I knew this card was going to come up today. I don't know why, but I knew it. It's the Fool card, and I actually knew that it was going to come up in reverse too. And it didn't come up in the pre-read or anything like that, but I just felt very much that was going on, okay? And again, here's that clean slate that we were talking about. The Fool is that 0 point that I was saying, that, you know, looking around at what's left after the tsunami has come and washed away all the nastiness, all the grime, all the dirt. It's the 0 point. It is, so the Fool is actually the character of the tarot, the main character of the tarot, who goes on his journey of enlightenment, okay? Obviously, the Fool starts as the Fool, right? As sort of this ignorance is bliss energy. Obviously, it's not necessarily where you want to end up in terms of your spiritual knowledge, but it is a wonderful energy to embody at various points of your journey, where it's needed to a little bit of that risk taker energy, a little bit of that devil may care, that like throw caution to the wind type energy. And once we've learned a lot of lessons, it can be difficult to embody that energy because of how wary we become of the dangers that could be off the cliff, right? But it is still really, really necessary. So I get that this Cancer is in the place of like, they're just emotionally, they feel victorious in dealing with these energies that they've been dealing with, but mentally, I believe that they're fighting this energy of the Fool. They're fighting this new start. They're fighting this okay, they're afraid. Yeah. So this Cancer, if they keep following their heart, I don't believe that they're going to